What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, coming at you with Upload 2 on the day to talk about Netflix and the pretty horrible day that they had. Obviously, this isn't financial advice, it's more for entertainment. You're watching Fortnite gameplay, but let's talk about Netflix's very embarrassing day.
I'm getting quiet now. Lay low when you reach, so I'm vibing now. Making out, stack the bread.
Alright, so obviously Netflix is a bit of an entertainment giant. You know, they spend a bunch on producing content, and they're basically synonymous with, movies and television at this point. They've done a pretty good job with this generation of making sure of that. That being said, today was not a great day for them. Netflix stock plummets over 20% on pace for worst day since July 2012. Alright, obviously anytime a company sheds 20% of its value in a day, something crazy has gone on, and truthfully it just seems to be a situation of Netflix not being able to grow at the insane expectations of some people. I don't think Netflix is a poorly ran company. I do have a Netflix account, I think everybody does. That being said, it is obvious that at a certain point, you kind of hit a point of saturation where everybody who's gonna have a Netflix account has a Netflix account. And after a year of lockdowns, you can't be surprised that growth is going to be a little bit slower for a while, because chances are a massive portion of people that were going to get a Netflix account did it while they were stuck inside their house. Netflix shares fell as much as 24% in trading Friday after the company quietly admitted in its fourth quarter earnings that streaming competition is eating into its growth. If it remains down more than 20% until close, it will be Netflix's worst day since July 25th, 2012, when shares fell 25%, and likewise, it'll be the worst week since July 27th, 2012, when the stock fell about 28%. The stock was down about 20% early in the afternoon. Yeah, I can't say that that's not going to be eating into Netflix either. I'll be honest, there used to be a time where streaming was like a way better deal than normal TV, right? Netflix, I get all this content for like $10. But Netflix, in order to keep making content, keeps raising the price. Now I think it's closer to $20 a month, and if you think about the fact that you have to have Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Paramount, Discovery, Amazon Prime, in order to have everything, like I just named all the big ones, right? All of those are gonna cost you an absolute crap ton. If you have all of them, it's probably like well over $100 a month. So I'm not surprised that some people, not everybody, but some people are getting rid of their Netflix account if they're having to pick and choose between accounts. Obviously, it's gonna cut into your growth when there's way more competition, because if people are just signing up for streaming services, I don't know, maybe some people aren't going with Netflix and going with Hulu instead. Or vice versa. I'm sure Hulu is losing subscribers to Netflix. At this point, there's so many people in the streaming wars that, you can't be surprised that the average person doesn't have a subscription to every single one of them. It's just unreasonable. Despite beating analyst expectations on user numbers and earnings for the quarter and coming in line with revenue expectations, the admissions seem to rock investors. Netflix executives have infamously pointed to things as Sleep as potential competitors, claiming anything else users could be doing with their time is competition. But even as the streaming wars heated up with Disney and even CNBC owner NBC Universal in the mix, Netflix leaders mostly maintain resolved about new competition. Yeah, of course they're going to maintain resolve. They're not going to come out and be like, NBC Universal just released Peacock and we all collectively crapped our pants. Like, that wouldn't bode very well either. When you're running a company, you gotta maintain confidence in your product and be like, no, Netflix is the best. We don't care about HBO Max. Of course, behind closed doors, they were like, crap, is there really gonna be another streaming platform we have to compete with? I think something about Netflix saying that, Sleep is their competitor, right, is obviously it makes them seem very strong as a company, but I also feel like at some point it's kind of true for a company of that size. Listen, when you have most of the people that are going to subscribe to Netflix in America subscribe to Netflix, it starts to become about the length of time that you keep them on the service. So yeah, eventually you start to be like, okay, people are sleeping. How do we make them watch Netflix before they go to sleep so that way their average amount of time on Netflix goes up? It's nuts. nuts, but when a company gets to that size and so much of what they make is based on data about popularity, you can't be surprised that it starts to impact things. Obviously, though, this is just my opinion. I do feel like we're reaching the point of saturation in the streaming market where, like, I don't really know if it's worth it to launch a new streaming service at this point because there's just so many options. And if anything, I expect over the next couple years, we'll start to see more of them consolidate, right? Like, how Discovery Plus is merging with HBO Max when AT&T finishes the deal? I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the, smaller ones start to combine, and just make a little bit more of a more powerful streaming service. That being said, I do think that they're going to have to start looking to other areas if they want to see a massive amount of growth, just because I feel like at this point, the odds of getting another 100 million Americans to make a Netflix account, barring any insane change, is slim to none. Not because it's a bad company at all, but because Netflix has been such a great company that I think they've reached the point where most of the people that are going to make an account already do. Sure, I guess as more kids grow up and move out and make their own account, that growth will happen naturally, but you'll also have people dying at the same time, So overall, I think they're gonna have to start looking to different places in order to get any growth. And one of the places that I think Microsoft and Netflix are looking is gaming. Netflix and Microsoft show that video gaming has become too big for tech giants to ignore. Obviously, Xbox has the Game Pass, they just bought Activision for $70 billion, so they're starting to acquire stuff, but, Netflix also happens to be a company that prints a bunch of money, so if they want to get involved in the gaming space, I do think that's a good place for growth. Obviously, if it starts to be that gaming, streaming, Game Passes start to become super popular, you're going to see a bunch of competition, and I don't necessarily mean game streaming in the same way that, Stadia and the Amazon Luna work where you're literally streaming games to your computer. I mean more about an Xbox Game Pass system where you can download a bunch of games from a launcher. I don't know if a Netflix game launcher would take off. But I do think gaming is a place that does have a lot of growth just because it feels like a lot of boomers in charge of companies don't take it seriously. But I think as our generation and younger generations get older, they're not going to see a dramatic drop-off in gaming spending. If anything, it's going to go up because suddenly all these kids that really wanted a dope gaming setup have a big boy job and can spend some serious income on a real nice gaming chair, great monitors, monitor arms. I think that we shouldn't be surprised, and none of us are going to be surprised to see gaming continue to grow, and I'm not surprised they're starting to look at something like that for growth. Netflix co-founder and co-CEO Reed Hastings says he wants Netflix to become a world leader in gaming distribution. Microsoft's $69 billion deal for Blizzard is proof the technology company sees significant future value in gaming and the metaverse. And Netflix said on its call on Thursday it will begin licensing well-known intellectual property later this year to offer popular games through its burgeoning service. It's interesting to see this competition heating up too. Obviously, it's not as intense as the streaming wars have become, but for a really long time, Steam was the place for people who played video games on their computer. I mean, really and truthfully, there was really nothing else when I first got into PC gaming. You had some launchers that I guess were kind of okay, but for the most part, everybody played everything through Steam. And then around the time of Fortnite, you had the Epic Game Store come about. Obviously, they've spent an absolute crap ton trying to compete with Steam. On top of that, you had the Origin platform from EA that did pretty good for a while. Those are the ones that I've known about for a while, and now you have the Xbox Game Store trying to compete directly on Windows with the Game Pass that they're going to start offering to PC. Netflix getting involved, I bet you Valve and Gaben are sitting there damn, these guys really trying to compete. I don't know. I do think competition in this particular industry isn't a bad thing because for a long time it just kind of felt like the way games were distributed on PC wasn't changing too much. Obviously, I don't want it to be in a situation where I've got to have 800 different accounts for 900 launchers to play every game. That's really annoying. So hopefully, eventually, one of them ends up winning the battle and becomes the launcher again. Because I'm not gonna lie, dude, nothing's as annoying as having to download a launcher for just one game. Maybe that's just my opinion. Maybe some of y'all don't mind, but like, I really just personally prefer when everything's on one platform. I feel like it just makes things a bit easier. But overall, it also does make me feel pretty cool to think about the fact that gaming's becoming so important that Netflix and Microsoft are both spending a substantial amount of money and time investing into it. I don't know, kind of makes me feel like all that time I spent playing video games wasn't that stupid. Anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you appreciate the double upload today, do me a favor, press the like button, comment down below, and if you're brand new, subscribe, turn on notifications. I would very much appreciate it. You know, it helps out the channel a lot. If you really want to help me out, I'll put a link to the intro song down below, along with the link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, and beyond that, you could use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout to get a discount on the best energy drink for gamers, G Fuel, and help me out at the same time. So like I said, use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout if you're an absolute legend. And, yeah, as I said, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. The last link in the description is a link to the merch store. Go pick yourself up a t-shirt. I'd appreciate it. And on that note, guys, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. And hopefully, I'll see you guys all tomorrow with another video. I'm out. Peace.